If I had to fundraise $30,000 in the next 30 days and failure wasn't an option, here's exactly what I do. No gala, no begging, no spammy social media posts, just smart strategy. And as a nonprofit coach with 30 years of experience, I've actually had to do this with my students more times than I can count. But here's the thing with fundraising. Most nonprofits feel overwhelmed and stuck, especially when the goal is something like $30,000 in 30 days. It feels huge. And it's easy to think that you need a celebrity board, a fancy gala, or some six-figure budget to even come close. But you don't. What you need is a clear plan, a message that truly moves people, and a strategy built for real-life, scrappy nonprofits like yours. So if you've tried everything else and you're still wondering, how do I actually make this work? You're in the right place. Because today I'm going to show you exactly how I would raise $30,000 in 30 days. And by the way, if you're ready to get serious about your nonprofit fundraising and want one-on-one support with a campaign like this, check the link in the video description to learn how nonprofit coaching can help you do it too. But let's dive in, because step one is to start digging and start building a list. First, I dig through your list of past donors looking for people who have given $500 or more, or those who show up every time you ask, so repeat givers. But I already know what you're thinking, and that's, Joanne, I don't even have a donor list like that yet. And that's totally okay, because we're not just talking about existing donors. We're talking about building a prospect list of people and organizations who might give if asked. This is where you get creative and strategic. So first, I'd tap into your inner circle. I'd ask your board, your staff, your volunteers, who do they know with the capacity to give? And then I'd work to identify businesses that support community causes or individuals with a history of philanthropy in your area. I'd scour the news, I'd scour Google, I'd pull lists of top companies, I'd even ask ChatGPT or Perplexity, and I'd creep other similar organizations for their lists on their websites or their annual reports for their donors. Now, because I'm not sitting there with you, if you're stuck on how to find these folks, I've got a full video that walks you through it step by step, and I'm going to link that at the end. But once you've got that list of prospective donors, I'd move on to mapping them into specific giving tiers, which brings us to step two, and that's the 80-20 rule. So here's a fundraising truth that professional fundraisers have used for decades. 80% of your funds will come from just 20% of your donors. This is where a giving tier strategy comes in. It gives me a roadmap and helps me stay focused. So if I were raising $30,000, here's how I'd break it down using the 80-20 rule. I'd aim to raise $24,000, so the first 80% from just 5 key donors. 1 donor at $7,500, 2 at $5,000, and 2 at $3,000. That's your core, your top tier donors who drive the majority of your results. Then the remaining $6,000, so that final 20%, I turn to a broader base. That could be 12 donors at $500, 24 at $250, or even 120 at $50 each, whatever fits your audience best. This system turns big, scary numbers into manageable chunks. It also helps donors see exactly where they fit, and sometimes it inspires them to stretch a little higher. Now, I'll always shoot it to you straight. And if you're sending out cold asks, especially to new donors or companies that you haven't built a relationship with, the success rate might be a little low, like I'm talking 1 to 10%, depending on the amount. That means to get one yes, we may need to reach out to a lot of potential donors, which is exactly why we created that big prospect list and why we always try to start with people who already notice, like our current donors. So as you grow and get more donations, make sure you keep good, clear records on your donors. Now, I can also boost our chances by doing a little research before I reach out to these donors and make the ask. It helps me tailor the request for funding to the specific person, business, or grantor. And it helps me determine that specific amount to ask them for based on our tiers. So step 3 is build a case for funding that they can't ignore and pitch it like a pro. This is where I build your case. Now, it's not so much about the need as it is about their impact. So we're crafting an invitation, and I want to speak directly to those top 20% donors. I'd make it personal, I'd make it compelling, I'd make it feel like they're stepping into something bigger than themselves. So about the mission, why now, what change can they help make happen? Now, I also want to caution you about adding urgency. Don't go over the top and play the desperation card. That kills trust. Instead, I time box the campaign. So I give it a clear beginning and end so that there's a sense of urgency without sounding like you're falling apart. Now, just a quick example, there was a charity that I was supporting that was really struggling, and I got that message saying, we're going to have to close our doors if you don't donate. And the first thought that came to my head and other donors' heads is, why would we donate if you're going to fail anyway? So just a little aside that I want to put out there. But here's another pro tip that I'd use to make your pitch really stand out, especially if you're going in cold with no prior relationship. To make your proposal stand out, I'd create a video version of your case for funding. And I do this with something as simple as Canva, Present, and Record by simply recording a voiceover on top of a slide deck and weaving in some visuals, testimonials, and impact quotes. Just be sure to keep it clear and concise, yet heartfelt. I mean, people respond to people. When they hear your voice and feel your passion, it sticks. And best of all, while other nonprofits are sending generic PDFs, you're delivering a personal story, one they'll remember, and more importantly, one they'll want to be part of. And if you're thinking, gah, I've never done this before, that's okay. I'm working on a video that should be coming out in a couple of weeks on just how to do this, so be sure to subscribe. Now, once I have my case for support, it's time to start reaching out to the people on my prospect list. Now, these are bigger asks, so I don't just jump straight into the ask. Instead, I focus on building a real conversation first. I might invite them for a quick coffee, hop on a Zoom call, or best yet, offer a tour if that makes sense for your organization. The goal is to listen and learn what they care about, what motivates them, and see if your mission aligns with their values. But let's be honest, even the most seasoned fundraiser has had those spray and pray moments where you just fire off cold asks and hope something sticks. And it can work. But if you want to consistently raise larger gifts, relationships always beat randomness. So be thoughtful, be intentional, and remember, people give to people. Now, before we continue, I want to take a moment to thank our video sponsor, Click and Pledge, the all-in-one fundraising platform I use and love. They have peer-to-peer campaigns, text to give, donation pages, video fundraising, donation outreach, and in-person fundraising, and even Zoom fundraising with their new Give feature. They also have transparent pricing, fast payouts, top-notch security, and seamless Salesforce integration. It's built to streamline every aspect of your fundraising. So be sure to check them out. I left a link in the description and see how they can amplify your fundraising. And thank you again, Click and Pledge, for making educational content like this possible. Now back to that $30,000 in 30 days, because step 4 is don't sleep on the final 20%. That last $6,000, that's where we go wide. This is the public facing campaign and our chance to bring in the broader community and rally the crowd. Now, depending on your digital presence, I'd probably go with a micro campaign. I mean, honestly, there's tons of ways we can do this, from peer-to-peer fundraising to online auctions to quick challenges. With a micro campaign, though, I'd go multi-channel, posting consistently on social media by using storytelling, updates, and visuals to bring that campaign to life. And I'd send out focused email series, so not just the ask, but behind-the-scenes content, impact stories, and mini goals to keep people engaged. And if we could swing it, I'd try to secure a matching gift from a business or donor, something to help spark momentum. People love knowing their gifts go further, and matching challenges are a proven motivator. So up next is a video on how to run a successful micro campaign, and I've linked that video on how to find new donors, even if you're starting from scratch. You've got this. But there you have it. My exact plan for raising $30,000 in 30 days. It's not magic, it's not luck, it's a system. And now you've got it too. Now, if this was helpful, do me a favor and drop a comment. They are super helpful. Plus, like the video, hit subscribe, share it with another nonprofit founder who needs to hear this. But thanks for watching, and remember, you can do this. You just need a plan.